Dune, Cuba, and air traffic controllers get some really bad news. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is October 22nd, 2021. It is the 295th day of the year, 70 days left in this year. It is the 43rd Friday of 2021 in the 43rd week. It's the 31st day of fall, and we got 60 days until winter. There's only 64 days left until Christmas. Man, this year's gone by fast. 2020 seemed like it went on forever, and 2021 is just blown past me. Today has a pretty cool little holiday thing. It's National Make a Dog's Day, I guess. National Make a Dog's Day on October 22nd provides an opportunity to give all dogs the best day of their lives, which is really cool. I always like watching those videos when someone's dog is old and they're getting put down. Well, they just spend the day doing everything they want to do. This one guy took his dog, ran him around the beach, sat, watched the sunset together, and he gave him like hot dogs and anything he wanted. And I think the dog had cancer and they put him down the next day, but I thought that was great. I love those videos. Anyway, if you own a dog, make today the best day for him or her. All right, let's see what else October 22nd has given us. 1907, a run on the stock of the Knickerbocker Trust Company sets events in motion that will spark the panic of 1907 on the stock market. Actually, it kind of sparked it around the country, but it's where it started. 1910, HollyHarvey Crippen is convicted of poisoning his wife. Now, that's not as big a deal as the fact that he was the first felon to be arrested with the help of a radio. The police used radio to communicate and actually arrested him. Now, my wife does the research for a lot of these On This Day videos, and in parentheses next to this one, it says, "Don't get any ideas." So yeah, I guess poisoning my wife's not allowed here. 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Kennedy, after an internal counsel from Dwight D. Eisenhower, announces that American reconnaissance planes have discovered Soviet nuclear weapons in Cuba, and he has ordered a naval quarantine of the communist nation. My dad was actually in this. The Cuban Missile Crisis. He was part of the blockade. He was on the USS Forrestal as a radar man, aircraft carrier. 1975, the Soviet unmanned space mission Venera 9 lands on Venus. So they send this thing up on June 8th of 1975. Little over 4 months later, it gets to Venus, and they have an orbiter, and then they send a lander down to take some pictures. The orbiter went around Venus for about 158 days, and the lander only lasted 53 minutes to send back a couple of pictures, which apparently look exactly like Southern Arizona. I mean, at that point, we got to know what's up there. For all we knew, it could have been a tropical paradise. I'm sure the scientists had a good idea what was going on there, but we had to see, or the Russians had to see. But still, that's a lot of effort to find out that it's just a big boulder, basically. 1981, the United States Federal Labor Relations Authority votes to decertify the Professional Air Traffic Controllers Organization, or PATCO, for its strike in the previous August. Okay, so this was a big deal in the early 80s. It was Ronald Reagan's first major crisis. All the air traffic controllers in the United States decided they were going on strike. As you can imagine, this pretty much shut down the country in a lot of ways. This is how it went down. In February of 1981, PATCO, or PATCO, whatever you want to call it, and the FAA began new contract negotiations, citing safety concerns, and PATCO called for reduced 32-hour work weeks. So they wanted to work 32 hours, but they wanted $10,000 pay increase across the board for all air traffic controllers. Okay, so you want to work less, and you want to get a whole bunch more money. Keep in mind, this 1981 dollars. So this would be like asking for a little over $20,000 pay increase today. On top of that, they wanted better benefits and a better retirement plan. Negotiations quickly stalled because of their demands. Don't get me wrong, this was or is an incredibly stressful job, and I get wanting to get more money or whatever, but I just think it was really a little heavy-handed because the FAA was negotiating with them. They were going back and forth. Then on August 3rd, 1981, the union declared a strike. In striking, the union violated a federal law which prevents federal employees from striking. Now, Ronald Reagan, who was the new president, originally was supporting them, but then I think he even realized they were being unrealistic and really hard-headed. So President Reagan said that they were putting the country's safety at risk and ordered them back to work. The next day, about 1,300 of the 13,000 air traffic controllers returned to work. Now, normally a president can't order people back to work like this, but the Taft-Hartley Act gives him the okay to do this. So since they didn't show back up to work, most of them, he went on to read the oath that these federal employees took when they accepted the position as a federal air traffic controller. Now, the part that pertains to this goes like this. I am not participating in any strike against the government of the United States or any agency thereof. Reagan then said that they had 48 hours to return to work or forfeit their job. Well, some more went back to work, but not all of them. On August 5th, the PATCO workers still refused to go back to work, like I said, at least most of them, and Ronald Reagan fired 11,345 striking air traffic controllers who had ignored the order, and then he went on to ban them from federal service for life. In the end, it was a little rough, but they got replacements and everything, worked itself out. But the PATCO was decertified on this day in 1981. Oh, and all those federal employees that were banned from federal service or civil service or whatever, that ban was lifted in 1993 by President Bill Clinton. Which, lifetime ban, that's a little harsh. So I get that. 2008, India launches its first unmanned lunar mission. Why? Why does India need to go to the moon? We've been there, Russians have been there, we know all about the moon. It's a big rock. Half their country lives in severe poverty, and India's got a nuclear program and sending crap to the moon. Movies released on October 22nd, today, 2021, Dune. Great book. I love the original Dune. It was a pretty good movie. That one had Kyle MacLachlan, Sting from The Police, Patrick Stewart, Sean Young. That was a great one. This one looks really good too. It's got that young lady Zendaya from the Spider-Man movies, Jason Momoa, Dave Bautista, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin. Looks really, really good. This is another one of those movies that's kind of trending this way. Disney did it with The Black Widow, where it's in the theaters, but also if you subscribe to their streaming service, you could watch it. And you could watch Dune today on HBO Max. Very, very interesting way of doing things. Born on October 22nd, 1903, Curly Howard. Yeah, he was the most popular of all the Three Stooges. There was Three Stooges, but in reality, I think there was like 5 or 6. Moe and Larry were the only ones that were a constant through the whole thing. They had Shemp, Curly, then they had another one named Joe, and then when they didn't have Curly and they didn't have Joe anymore, they brought in another guy and just called him Curly Joe. Not a lot of originality on that one. But Curly Howard, whose real name was Jerome Lester Horowitz, was with them for quite a while, actually, from 1932 to 1946. They started in 1930, so he was almost there at the beginning, but he left in 1946. I watched this documentary on the Three Stooges years back, and one of the reasons Curly left is he was tired of people in public, slapping him on the back of the head, poking him in the eyes, they thought it was hysterical because that's what he did on screen. They thought they could do it to him for some frickin' reason. But Moe Howard, who was Moses Harry Horowitz, Shemp was Samuel Horowitz, and Curly, they were all brothers. Sadly, Curly died at the age of 48 in 1952 from a cerebral hemorrhage. From a cerebral hemorrhage. Holy crap, I think I'm having one right now. Died on October 22nd, 2009, we lost Soupy Sales. I think I may have talked about him before, but he was actually born Milton Supman in 1926. He went on to be a great comedian, slapstick type thing. I'm not a slapstick fan, but he was pretty good at it. And he had his television show, and it was very interesting time, and he was a very interesting character. He was actually in the Navy, served during World War II. His grave says Soupy Sales, not his real name, and it says innovative TV pioneer, a nice person, and a funny guy. That's what his headstone says. Love that. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, do something productive, be nice to each other.